First episode, man. He got the leg up.
Hey, bro, you got to, bro, with my teeth.
Oh man, I got no socks on in this bitch.
How you doing, YouTube? This is Woke Equals Free, presented by Joseph of Mine. We back with another one. I got my homie with me today, Pop Man, Rashaan Ali Duke. Well, Rashaan, say your name, bro.
Yeah, Rashaan Ali Duke the
Oh,
second.
all right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying, man? He gonna be with me today on this video, having a high vibrational conversation. I told y'all that we was coming with it. You know what I'm saying? He's my first guest, one of my closest homies, bro.
Yes, sir.
Nice to have you on, dog.
Appreciate
Nice
you.
to have you on. So today's video is gonna be titled "Adversity plus Adaptation equals Evolution." Right? So before I'm gonna let him go to start it off, but I'll just kind of give a quick summary of what that means, that formula, right? So to evolve, right, there has to be adaptation that takes place. For adaptation to take place, the criteria has to be adversity, right? There has to be a problem. There has to be a mistake, a misstep, right? There has to be something that went wrong that creates a turn of events that either give you the option to stay the same or give you the option to adapt and become the type of being and individual that can get past whatever you have encountered, right? Whatever situation you have encountered, you have to become the type of person that you're either gonna let it kill you, right? And I'll say it like this: you're in the jungle, right? You encounter a tiger. You're either gonna let that tiger kill you, or you're gonna channel something deeper inside of you that helps you either get away from that tiger or kill the tiger. Either way, you're not gonna make it out unscathed, right? That's adversity. Because you didn't make it out unscathed, you had to adapt to whatever situation you were in, right? And you adapting breeds evolution. Now you can walk away from that fight with the tiger. I know it's a pretty, a crazy analogy, but it's real. When you walk away out of that jungle limping, your shirt tore up, you know what I'm saying? You got a claw mark across your chest. You think of life totally different, like, man, you know what I'm saying? I can do anything, right? You know what I'm saying? I just fought a tiger and I survived. And, that's going to be the crux of this video, right? Adversity plus adaptation breeds evolution.
Yeah, so how this whole meeting started was my brother was trying to learn trading from me. So he pulled up on me and we started talking about it. And naturally, we have pretty deep conversations, right? So we really didn't even talk too much about the technicals of the charts and all that stuff. And I was mainly talking to him about the mindset that is required in order to succeed in trading, because it's purely mental, right? Yeah. It's purely mental and emotional. And we ended up veering off the path, but not really off the path, because it's all interconnected into talking about instant gratification and delayed gratification. And we ended up talking about, how you have to go through something hard in order to succeed, in order to grow. And we started talking about, I related it to, athletes, professional athletes in today's society, and how they're revered as gods and damn near deities. And that's really only because they're doing something that's extremely hard that most people can't do. And they've put in the work at the end of the day, right? They've put in the work that most people aren't willing to do, or they just simply can't do. And because of that, they reap the rewards of praise, of monetary gains, of status, right? And in the world that we live in, the matrix that we live in, this Western economy, Western society, we play status games. That's what it's all about. We virtue signal with the things that we have, right? Via our clothes, via our cars, via our houses, right? And it's easy. It's easy to fall into the games. Right? It's easy to play the games.
It's convenient.
It's convenience, right? We were talking about that, how a lot of the conveniences that we have in society now are really double-edged swords, right? They really take away from our abilities as human beings, more than they contribute to it. And a lot of the conveniences, they are helpful, surface level. Like we were talking about GPS, right? Without the GPS, it would be a lot harder to get around the world in general.
Yep.
But at the same time, it takes away from our ability to use the stars to navigate, right? Because before we had GPS, that's what we was using.
Yeah.
Right? We was using the stars to know where to go, where not to go, how to get to certain places. That we were still using the stars in slavery.
To interject real quick, not only using the stars, but a lot of people don't understand this because you don't remember, right? But our bodies had a natural attraction to the stars. You know what I'm saying? To the constellations, right? Because everything it's called the universe because everything is united, right? So it was natural for us to, okay, I need to get there. Let me see, you know what I'm saying, what stars align with the direction I'm going, right? The Galileos of the world, you know what I'm saying? They all understood this in ancient times, right? And it's crazy that, before I give it back to Pop, it's crazy that in ancient times, people were so tapped in, and today we're so cocky to try to say that, you know what I'm saying, civilization is advanced.
And we're modern, like,
you know what I'm saying? Like we saying,
technology.
It was normal for people. Yeah. Vikings used to sail the seas without anything. It wasn't no what is it called, bro? Whenever the sonar that it sends out something and it bounces back so you can pick the direction. There wasn't no longitude and latitude. Wasn't none of that.
I feel like it was that, but it didn't require anything that was external.
Right.
We had we was already connected.
Yeah.
And
we've been handicapped.
Yes, I think a lot of the conveniences are really handicaps in disguise, bro. They really are, and we're going into a world where being conscious or being aware of these things is kind of seen as taboo, and you kind of seem like a weirdo.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's dangerous because what kind of world is that? Where we're reliant on things outside of ourselves more and more and more and more. What type of world is that?
To jump in, bro, like we're saying, and sorry, y'all, we only got one mic right now, but like he's saying, it's a world, we're going into a world that lacks adversity, right? A lot of people have watched Wall-E before, right? You watched Wall-E?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody just floating around in space.
Fat, floating on these little chairs. You don't even have to walk anymore, right? In today's society, most people, you don't have to think for yourself anymore, right? They've taken adversity away from us. And why? You have to ask why. There are no coincidences. Why did they take the desire to evolve? Because if you take away adversity, you take away the desire to grow. So why did they take that from us? To stop us from truly becoming who we are meant to be, which is the point of the Matrix, right? They want to reap our energy so that we cannot use it ourselves. Artificial intelligence is going to get to the point to where they feel like they're better stewards of our energy than we are, because that is the world that they built and is the world that we've adapted to. We've adapted to convenience, right? And it's crazy, bro. It's insane.
Yeah. So.
And not only have we adapted to convenience, but because we've adapted to convenience, the evolution, right? Because that's the crux of what we're talking about. Adversity plus adaptation is evolution, right? Is growth, right? Is you reach a higher frequency, right? You reach more awareness, right? Let's take out adversity and plug in convenience plus adaptation, right? What does that evolution look like? Bro, you said, what does that evolution look like, bro? On the real.
It looks robotic. It looks repetitive. It looks homogeneous. It looks all the same. It looks
Crazy, bro.
like less creativity.
Yes.
It looks artificial in every way. The food is artificial.
Yep.
The clothes is artificial.
Yep.
The animals is artificial.
The intentions of how we
Everything.
go about daily life is artificial.
Yep.
Right?
You're man, and we can go into an even deeper conversation about why we're even afforded these conveniences, because it is a double-edged sword. Like I said, there's good and bad to it. We can talk about the deeper reasons behind why we have all these conveniences if you want to.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
I'll give my thought process on why we have all this in the first place. It all comes back to money.
Yeah. Yep.
Cream. Cash rules everything around me.
Yep.
Our money's broken at the end of the day.
Go into it, bro.
It's broken, bro.
Now we not gonna max y'all out.
Yeah, we're not gonna go in.
Anybody can give a great baseline of the financial infrastructure and the ebbs and flows of everything, right? It is this guy. He graduated college for finances, right? You are an accountant, right?
No, I'm not an accountant. I graduated with a finance degree.
Right.
I'll give a breakdown. Yeah, so I went to
He's qualified. To say the least.
I went to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I graduated with a bachelor's in finance. And most of my knowledge on money didn't even come from that. Keep it 1,000% with you.
Right.
Most of my knowledge on finances came from my dad, right? And it came from books. It came from books that I was reading outside of class.
Yeah.
The first book was Thank God for Bitcoin, right? And that book isn't about the technology, right? It's not about the technology. It's not about how Bitcoin actually works and, why it works. It's about the problem that it solves. 90% of that book is about the problem that Bitcoin solves. The last 10% is about what Bitcoin actually is and how it came to be. The problem that it solves is the ability to just print money out of thin air.
Fiat,
right? And that's what fiat money is, right? So you got to think about it. Money is just a representation of our energy, right? No energy can be created or destroyed, right? So we use money as a representation of our energy so that it makes trade easier. So we're gonna leave it at that simple explanation. So if money is a representation of our energy and it's supposed to be valuable, in this matrix, this world, this universe that we live in, the value of something is largely tied to its level of scarcity. Right? So if money is no longer scarce and you can just print it out of thin air and let's say it grows on trees, right? Then what's the value of it? Think about fashion. We can apply this to almost all facets of life. Think about shoes, right? A pair of Louis Vuitton shoes that's custom made by Travis Scott, those gonna sell for it's only 100 pairs that was ever made. Those gonna sell on StockX for what?
You don't get taxed.
Thousands of dollars. And the less supply that they have of those shoes, the higher the price is gonna go. But then we think about the Nike Pandas, the Dunks. Bro, when those shoes first came out, you couldn't just buy them in Foot Locker. So when you seen somebody with them,
that's a great example.
When you seen somebody with them, like, damn, they got the Pandas. Few months later, bro, COVID started to settle out. Supply chain started to loosen up again. Then now you could just walk in Nike, buy a pair of Pandas for $100.
That became the kind of the baseline of having an SB Dunk.
Exactly. And not every shoe head or people that's really into shoes is like, I never wear Pandas.
Exactly.
What changed about the Pandas? Nothing, bro. It's the level of scarcity. So the value of a shoe dropped simply because of how available it was to society. And it's no different with money, bro. It's no different. The reason that everything keeps going up in price and we keep getting these different technologies and we're always able to be at war. We've been at war forever, bro. We were always at war. America, we're talking about America specifically because we live in America, if you couldn't tell. America's been at war forever. We always got our hand in something, and it's like, how do we have all this money to be at war constantly?
Yeah.
But we got people in poverty, right? Mm-hmm. We got people starving, right? We got most of the countries on Medicaid,
yep.
Right? Why do we have all this money to be at war, but not enough to have no taxes, right? They got countries with no taxes, but we're the number one country, yep. Right? But it's because we print money out of thin air. The central bank just prints money out of thin air. It's simple as that. You can go look into it more. I'm not going to, like I said, we're not going to get too much into all the details behind it, but just think about that, man. If you're able to just create something out of thin air, then the more you create, the less value it has. Yeah. And it's that simple. It's like you wouldn't go try to trade a car for some pieces of grass. Maybe if that was the only grass in the whole country, yeah. Right? And you the only nigga that got grass, maybe, and it's but it's grass everywhere. So why would I ever try to pull this shit out the ground and say, "Here, bro, let me get this car." Like that don't make sense. And it's no different. That's how money is becoming. It's just so abundant. It's so abundant that it's losing its value. But when you think about money losing its value, it's reflective in the price of everything going up. Right? You can't get tricked by the nominal value. You can't get tricked by the price of everything going up. That's not a representation of the value of it going up. Mm-hmm. That's a representation of the value of the dollar going down. Yeah. Because you need more and more and more of it to buy the same thing. Yep. To buy the same thing. So, yeah, that's that mindset or that. How do I say this? That lie, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a lie. The way that money started was you had gold, right? Yep. That was the money that everybody was using. You had gold, and then a bank was holding it. Mm-hmm. You gave your gold to the bank, and then they would give you these dollars, these receipts, and that's how fiat currency came into be, right? At a certain point in time, it was illegal for you to give gold to a bank and then get the receipts out of the bank, and then if you go back there and they don't have your gold, oof, that's tough. That's illegal.
It's the same thing
right?
Today, and you can go to the bank.
It's not illegal no more.
Right, because you can give 10 bands. It's the same thing, right?
But it's legal.
You can give 10 bands, for them to scam us, right? You can give 10 bands to the bank. A lot of people don't know this. Give 10,000 to the bank and go get it again the next day. They won't let you.
You can't, bro. And it's our money used to be backed by a physical asset, something that was. It's so many things that go into money. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But just the basic principle that money isn't backed by anything, that you can just print it out of thin air. When that became normalized, that's how we got here. That's how we're getting all this new technology. We're constantly at war. And we're constantly getting better technology and becoming more advanced and better AI, but society's declining. Yep. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Why is it becoming harder and harder to afford an apartment? Why is an apartment? We're not even talking about a house. Home affordability is going down. Yeah. Why? Because the price of everything is going up. Why? Because there's more money coming into the system. Right. Think about the economy as a balloon. Think about air going into the balloon as the money. Mm-hmm. The more money you put into the balloon, the bigger the economy expands. That expansion is the price of everything going up. Eventually, it's going to expand and expand and expand, and then that's what you have. That's what's called a bubble. Right, and it pops. And it pops. Yep. The .com crash, the AI bubble. That's what you hear. It's all this artificial value, this money that's being created out of thin air by the banks that's just going into different industries. At one point it's oil. At one point it's cars. Now it's AI. At one point it was the internet. Yeah. and it just all this money just being created. That's why our national debt is constantly going up, and it's eventually gonna pop, bro. And what does that pop look like?
Yep.
It looks like these companies that's getting all this artificial money being exposed for not turning a profit.
Right.
Right. So then people are gonna go bankrupt, and we see banks fall under, like Silicon Valley Bank. They had a bank run. People tried to go into that bank, pull their money out. They didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got bailed out by other banks. And it's no real consequence, right? There's no real consequence for lying anymore. They broke the money, and now everything's broken, right? Now you don't know what's really valuable, because at one point you couldn't just make more money, so you had to be efficient with where it went. Governments had to be efficient, right? Politicians wasn't politicians for money. They was politicians because they cared about people. But now politicians become politicians to get closer to the money printer, because they get access to say, oh, this money goes here, this money goes there. And that's when we get to talking about lobbying and corporatism, and it goes deep. But the money is broken, and it's the main reason why society is declining, why morals are declining, why discipline and just the overall state of the human being is declining, because artificial money is being pumped into us and is making us less of a human being, if I'm being honest, because we don't really have to do much.
And going into everything he said is perfect for the video, because like he's saying, the last thing we said before he gave y'all a breakdown of the financial infrastructure, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm glad this is on my page, you know what I'm saying? We have to have another video just to talk about straight money. Yeah, it's important, bro.
I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like I rambled a little bit, but bro. I do want to talk about that in a more structured way, because I know that there's a better way to get people to understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of it stems from money, bro. If you just go down a rabbit hole, or just a decision tree of why this, okay, if then that, you can eventually track it all the way back down to, okay, the money's broken.
Yeah.
Like in almost every part of society, you can track it down to the money being broken. But that might be for another video.
And to get back to what we was talking about, that is what happened. What he just gave was a very detailed soliloquy on why, or not on the why, but on what happens whenever you take out the adversity and replace it with convenience, right? Convenience plus adaptation.
Fake money is creating all the convenience.
Whenever Nixon decided that he was going to take the US dollar off of the gold standard, that was for convenience, right? So that to make it easier for the United States to pay off our debts and to do this and to do that.
Stay at war.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what really That's what really happened. I don't remember if it was World War I or World War II, but it was one of those wars where
probably was two, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have to go back and fact check it, but it was 1971 is when we came off of the gold standard for good, because we came off of it multiple times, but we stayed off of it since 1971, and it was to stay in war.
Yeah,
like we've been in war since America has been America, and in ancient times, going to war was very, 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 very risky, because you had to have money.
Yep.
What was money back then? It was gold. It was a finite resource.
Resources, right.
And you couldn't just make more of it, and that's why Bitcoin is just so unique. They added it to the U.S. Treasury for a reason, but you couldn't just get mad and just go to war.
Yeah.
Unless you just had a crazy ruler, you had a crazy leader and king that didn't care nothing about his people, and didn't care if his whole kingdom just died and just got destroyed, because you had to have money. You had to be strategic. If you didn't have money, you had to have alliances. Right. And you can see the same thing today with NATO, with these different alliances that we have around the world, BRICS. All those countries are teaming up against the superpower that has created this whole system of artificial money. They pimping out the world with the money, bro. That's another conversation though. Ugh.
Like he said though, like he said, that is why eventually people can say all of this that they want to say about America, man. You know what I'm saying? They can say how great America is. They can say America poo don't stink, this and that. If anybody wants to go against us, we're gonna win. Bro, for one, they not running ones.
They not running ones,
They
bro.
not running ones, bro.
And we couldn't even run a one with. Bro, we couldn't even run a one with China. Like the higher ups in American in the American what is it? The military whole complex. There are people, there are generals, right? The top people are running these tests and running forecasts to see all the possible outcomes of going. Yes, yeah, the War Department, couldn't find a word. The War Department, they are running forecasts and tests to see all the possible outcomes with AI to see that, all right, what if we go to war with China? What are all the possible outcomes that could happen? The AI is telling them there's no situation where we would win.
Crazy.
Zero. Y'all can look that up. Fact check me.
Saying all that to say, the society, the matrix, the simulation that we are currently living in is precisely what would happen once you take away struggle, once you take away adversity, once you take away trials and tests, right? Even to the point to where now Elon Musk, who is creating something right now called Neuralink, is gonna basically, you don't have to go through the struggle of, okay, you lost your legs, you can't walk no more. You know what I'm saying? Now you can walk again. If you was blind, you can see again. If you was deaf, you can hear again, thanks to technology, thanks to artificial intelligence. So they're creating a system which will be the new world order where, like what we were saying with Wally, convenience will be our downfall. Convenience is America's downfall.
Yeah.
That is where we went wrong.
Yes, bro.
That is where we went wrong.
Yes.
You got something to say? You good.
And what's happening today is just a different form of how this country was started.
Yeah.
Which is slavery.
Yep.
Right?
Coming here, robbing land.
Taking labor.
Right.
Taking energy. For convenience.
Yep.
They could have came here, killed everybody, and just started from the ground up, built, farmed their own land. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
It's crazy.
Come on, man. It's built on convenience. It's built on hard work, but not their hard work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The hard work has to be put in. Like, even in that situation, bro, just to prove your point further, the hard work, the adversity was still put in.
Right.
It may not have been morally correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It may not have been the morally right thing to do, but the work still had to be put in or there wouldn't have been no progress.
Right.
America is built on the back of slavery, bro. It's built on the back of hard work.
Crazy.
Still, even though it was wrong, even though it was stolen, even though it was messed up,
Crazy,
it was still built on the back of hard work. Without that hard work, there would have been no progress.
Yeah. To support the formula even more. Even with how America was built, people can say they did this and that. But at the end of the day, the adversity plus adaptation equals evolution is a universal formula that you cannot bypass, right? In order to build something.
Bro, it's some universal laws, bro. Some universal laws, there's not many things that are just concrete in this life that are just like you just can't bypass.
Get into it, bro.
Something like laws are laws for a reason. Like the laws that we live by in America, they're not really laws. They're more like rules.
Yeah.
Universal laws like gravity, you can't bypass that. Everything, that's the baseline.
The creator, even you good, you can hold it. Even the creator has to abide by the laws because he made them. You know what I'm saying? He is the universe.
The creator is the laws.
Exactly.
The creator is the laws, bro. And we base everything that we do, all these inventions and technology is based off of these laws. And hard work, man, and just adversity is one of them. And like I was telling you before we started, the only reason that we've gotten to this point as human beings is because things are hard because we face challenges. Because the first humans was out in the jungle and they encountered a fucking jaguar.
Yep.
And it was like, oh shit, we can't really beat them with our bare hands. So we need to get this sharp stick that I stepped on because I didn't have no shoes,
Right.
and it poked me in my foot. And I was like, damn, that's sharp. That hurt me. That could probably hurt a leopard.
Yep.
So I picked it up and I carved it into this spear so that I can use it against the leopard and protect myself. But if you don't step on that thing and you bleeding and you don't see, all right, let me not step there no more, but let me not only not step there, let me see how I can use that pain.
Right.
How I can use my mistake to then get forward and then propel me further into this life, you know?
To interject, bro. It starts off with that little stick that you stepped on, sharpening that into, you know what I'm saying, a spear, right? That spear turns into, okay, because we're talking about adversity plus adaptation equals evolution. The spear evolves into, okay, there's this precious metal called iron that is even more useful than this spear. It won't break as easy as the spear, right? Now we got swords, right? Okay, with a sword, the drawback to a sword is it's great for close combat, but I can't get somebody from far with it. Now we have guns, right? Then we had bow and arrows, right? I skipped. Then we created bow and arrows to shoot the sword, to shoot the spear at you, right? Bow and arrows evolved into guns, right? But the crux and the gist of what we're saying is, you know, the common denominator is that adversity aspect, right? The adversity is the breeding ground for adaptation and growth. You cannot skip it. Like he said earlier, the strongest nations in the world, yes, the means of how they might have conquered, you might not agree with it, but you don't agree with it because what they did is something you're not willing to do. They didn't go away from the formula. They still abided by the universal law of adversity plus adaptation equals evolution, right? A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, in a poor class like to get mad at the rich people because the rich people play by a different set of rules. It's not a different set of rules. That's what we fail to understand. They just know the rules. They just know the rules, bro.
You can't win a game if you don't know the rules, bro.
Yes.
But if somebody is telling you the rule is, oh, you gotta be a good person, or you gotta be, bro, you gotta be a good person. You gotta go to college. You gotta go get this education. You gotta do this to be successful. It's like, all right, boom. If you go into the world and then you abiding by these so-called rules that somebody taught you, you're gonna find yourself in a bad space because you're gonna quickly realize, oh shit, I'm not playing the same game that I was taught.
Yep.
There's clearly different rules.
Yep.
That's why you hear people say, man, why do why do bad things happen to good people? It's
right.
because the universe doesn't operate off of morals.
Yep.
It operates off of vibration and energy. So you man, you trying to bypass universal laws, it's just silly, man. It's silly.
And the thing is not the poor people's fault that the simulation that we were plugged into ever since we were born tricked us and told us a different set of rules that don't apply to the universe, right? That God doesn't recognize, right? God doesn't recognize convenience, right? He doesn't recognize comfort, right? He doesn't recognize the easy way, right? He only recognizes adversity. He only recognizes death, right? That's why in the Bible, it says you have to die daily to your flesh, right? The Bible is telling you that in order for you to reach a higher frequency, in order for you to gain higher awareness, the Christ consciousness, right? You have to do the hard things. The hard things a lot of times from what we were taught is going to the gym. That's hard. That hurts, right? Eating healthy. That's hard. It tastes nasty, because right?
It's not convenient.
It's not convenient.
Back to the convenience thing, bro.
Yep. Bro,
like
this is a great topic.
Eating healthy, going to the gym, living below your means, all that stuff is seen as hard and difficult and trying because it's not convenient.
Yep.
Because the easy thing to do is stay in your bed all day in your AC, where you can turn it to 73, 60, whatever your body feels is most comfortable. You can turn it on whatever you need to feel just at homeostasis for all day, and you can stay in your bed and watch Netflix and just eat your favorite food that make you feel good, because the food that you eat does affect your mood and it releases chemicals in your brain, and it is a form of a drug. But anyways, it's convenient. Not going to the gym is convenient. It's all not reading books is convenient. All this convenience is what's gonna kill us at the end of the day. Is what's gonna keep us stagnant as a species.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we're letting the top 5% of the economy of the people in the world decide how we're living and the evolution of the species as a whole. And it's like when we say the matrix, is like it's everything. It's everything around us. It's mainly the government, but it's the companies, right? It's the companies that we use for our phone. It's the companies you watching this probably gonna watch this video on YouTube, Google. Like, all these companies control the world. They control what you're seeing on your phone. You're not controlling your algorithm. I promise you. Right. No matter how much you think you're training, you are training your algorithm, but there's people that's pushing these buttons, bro, that can, if they want to push a propaganda on you and want to make you think a certain way about a certain country, which we're not going to even get on that right now, but
like it's saying, you can cater your algorithm, but eventually, like I've seen it for myself. I've gone down my whole Explore page, right? Any female I seen, I went to not interested, not interested, not interested. The next day, somehow, there's still another female on there, and I went to not interested, right? And we have to ask the question, and everything he said begs us to ask the question, where is the direction of society, right? What is the elites, you know what I'm saying, utopia and futuristic society of where they're trying to lead us to, right? What is the new world order? What principles is it based off of, right? What laws govern the new world order, right? We have to ask, why are they going down this road? Why is artificial intelligence the next revolution? Right? It went from agriculture to, the industrial revolution, right? Now we're in the AI takeover, right? Why are things getting easier and easier and easier? Like I just said, we started in the agriculture, right? To where land was used, you tilled the ground. That was the main thing. Everybody was farmers, right? That was hard, right? You had to till the land yourself. During the Industrial Revolution, okay, how can we make this easier? Okay, we're going to build machines. We're going to make the plow, right? Okay, how can we make this even easier? Let's build a factory full of machines that are outside, but let's put it in a factory now, right? Let's put it in a controlled environment that doesn't get affected by the elements, right? We're still doing it though. You know what I'm saying? That's why employee rates was higher back then. There were more jobs, right? Because there was more manual work. You had to do the work. That's how God made it. We have to do the work. He said that in Genesis. One of the curses that was put on man was we have to work by the sweat of our brow, right? Now, are you about to say something?
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
I got something, so I'm waiting for you to finish.
Now it's getting to the point to where, okay, we're gonna make another entity of itself that will do the logistics. You know what I'm saying? That will do the planning. That will save the data, right? That will create the ecosystem and infrastructure of the economy, of society, to where we've created artificial intelligence to where now we went from us having to do all the labor to where we don't have to do anything now. Now that we're in one of the worst job markets in the history of mankind, right? Why are there less jobs, right? It's not that it's just because of AI. We have to ask, okay, where did AI come from? First principle thinking. It came from our the lack of the desire to go and work and do it yourself. The lack of the desire to go through the adversity yourself, to where we created a totally different entity to do it for us. It's insane, bro.
I also think it's because now it's in line with the whole topic of this conversation. But it's like think about it like this, man. The owners of these companies,
Yeah.
they want the most profit.
Yep.
Remember how we was talking about with the charts? Is they want the most profit and at least amount of losses.
Right.
Those people are becoming detached from other human beings.
Yeah.
Right.
God complexes.
God complexes. They're becoming detached from other human beings, and they are seeing the human being themselves. I think the camera died, but they're seeing
Sure.
not the camera, but the mic.
It's still going.
The
Alright,
mic.
Cool.
I don't know, but they're seeing, like you said, there needs to be a problem in order for us to adapt and grow.
Yeah.
Right. I think the people that's running the world now they're starting to see the human beings as the problem.
Right.
Right. They're
Crazy.
seeing the human beings as the problem. Right. So now they created an entity that can fulfill our roles,
Yep.
and they no longer have to deal with our problems. They no longer have to deal with us having to take a few weeks off to help our wives with the baby because we
Yep.
don't have no family around us. Not everybody has a huge family, right? So, it's each human life is very nuanced,
Yep.
right? And it takes a lot of consideration, a lot of thinking. That's why there's an HR department in all of these big companies, and
Right.
it's whole departments just to deal with humans,
Yep.
right? But where do all those people work? When it's just AI, you don't even need an HR department.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Make a robot talk to you.
Yep. So it's many layers that go into this whole the whole society and why we're going where we're going.
To jump in real quick, like we were saying earlier, where are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Since the adversity, like we were saying, in the ancient days, in the archaic times, you know what I'm saying? Adversity plus adaptation equals evolution was a normal law. That was normal. That was okay.
It's still normal though,
right?
It's just different. It's just different. It's just now that people are using AI now.
Yeah.
AI is just another tool. Right? It's not an entity. It's just another tool to get over to solve the problem, to solve the problem. Whatever the problem is, AI is now the new spear. It's now the new sword.
Yeah.
Right? And we get into trouble when we start to deify this shit. When we start to see it as something that's a living, breathing thing. Don't get tricked by your senses, right? Don't get tricked by what you see, by what you can feel, hear, take. Bro, they finna start making all these robots, and they gonna have meat suits and all this. They put it in the movies, Terminator, bro, all that stuff.
Androids.
Bro, they making these movies in the 80s, 90s. It's all been planned already. It's all been planned. It's just now coming into fruition because of science, because of technological advances. But the law has not changed, bro. It hasn't. These companies are using the same law. It's just the tool looks different. Now to solve the problem of the stick in the foot, it's AI.
Right. And I'm saying you're absolutely right. And what I mean by that is now
how does that trickle down?
Right, exactly.
To common society, as you said.
Because like you saying, the people at the top are still abiding by the rules. They have to. The universe only recognizes the rules, right? So what about the people that don't know the rules anymore? What about the people that are being programmed to the new laws, right? To the new society and system and program that the ones at the top are indoctrinating us with, right? The propaganda that we are being fed, right? To think that rich people are just rich because they're selfish and not because they did adversity plus adaptation equals evolution, right? Why thinking where are we gonna go when the poor class give up and accept the convenience factor, right? Whenever they say, okay, they're making it too hard. Okay, so now I have to be rich in order to thrive in society. I don't want to do that. I like I like being dependent on the government. I like food stamps. I like Section 8 living. You know what I'm saying? What happens whenever that becomes normalized on a higher scale?
Yeah, or on an even bigger scale, because it exists right now.
Right.
It's always existed. Man, the government subsidies has been a thing since the beginning of America, man. Like the way that a lot of white people got ahead of black people, especially after slavery, is because the government gave white people, poor white families that had no business owning a home, that was just as poor as the black people, they gave them loans.
Yeah.
VA loans, FHA, that's what that came from, was the government giving poor white people loans to buy homes, and they left black people out. Redlining, all that stuff. That's why most of the wealth is in real estate.
Yeah.
Right? So it's energy can be created or destroyed. It just transforms. Right? The energy that was created, that was used to begin this society that we live in, is just reforming and reshaping itself in different ways. And I think what we should be focused on more importantly is being human.
Yeah, exactly.
Is being human and learning how to be a human being.
Yeah.
Learning how to farm, learning how to, bro, people gotta learn how to pray.
Learn how to
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Learn how to do nothing. And I don't mean do nothing by sitting in a chair and being on your phone all day. I mean literally just sitting in a chair.
Being.
And just being.
You know what I'm saying?
Like people used to have rocking chairs, bro.
Right.
Like people used to just sit on the porch.
Yep, all day. Yep.
And just rock on the chair, bro. And just be talking to each other.
And if you notice, that was always on any movie you seen somebody just sit on that rocking chair, they were probably the wisest person in that movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was probably the old grandmama that was giving advice to her children, right? Yep. Because the older generation, the boomers, understand it to a certain degree, but we have to understand, and we can't get too deep into it, they were the first guinea pigs. Bro. They were the first guinea pigs. They were who the TV was unleashed on our grandparents and great-grandparents. We have to think about these things. They were the first ones that it started with, right? Seeing things on TV, right? Convenience, TV shows, right? So now, grandmama wasn't sitting outside no more on a rocking chair. Now grandmama in the house all day, watching her stories, right? She's not as connected to God no more. No. She's not inside of herself. And now the generations follow. Jeez. So back to what we were saying, that begs the question, what does the evolution look like? Because whether it's adversity plus adaptation or convenience plus adaptation, comfort plus adaptation, evolution is still the result. No matter which ones you plug into the formula, right? Evolution is still gonna happen. Yep. So what does that look like, right? It looks like Wall-E, right? It looks like the Hunger Games, right? You know what I'm saying? It looks like a dystopian society where the rich have been separated from the poor, right? And the rich are lazier than the poor, but somehow have more money, right? If you look on the Hunger Games, let's look at the Hunger Games. The people in the districts fighting for their life every day. Yeah. They hunting every day. You know what I'm saying? They doing whatever they can to survive.
It's not that they lazy.
They're not lazy.
Yeah.
The people in the district are doing nothing. And they're just rich by default, right? So we have to look at all of these things and understand that they tell us what's going on through movies, right? They have to tell you. That's another universal law. They have to tell you, right? Come on, bro. Television. In the Garden of Eden, right? God didn't lie to them about what would happen if they ate the fruit. He told them. He didn't lie, right? The serpent is the one that used deception, right? Because the serpent told them that they would become something that they already were. You know what I'm saying? The serpent said, you will be like God. We were already like God, right? Now we had to lower our frequency because we disobeyed, right? Don't disobey today, right? To wrap up the video. Don't get comfortable with not having, right? Don't get comfortable being in a scarcity mindset, right?
Don't get comfortable with somebody just giving you something.
Right.
Because nothing's free. That was one of the first things they taught us in business school. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yeah.
It's not free.
Yeah.
Somebody's paying for it. And it doesn't always have to be monetarily.
Yeah.
but energetically it's being paid for. There's nothing that's free. So when I say get back to being human, hey man, learn how to grow your own food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the basic. It's like a basic need for every human being that you can't get around. That's a law.
Right.
You need food, right? Learn how to build. You know what I'm saying? Learn different handyman skills. Learn how to do carpentry. Learn how to do electric. I know people, man, that literally know how to build an entire house
Crazy.
by themselves.
Yep.
I know a few people that know how to do it.
I got some uncles, bro. They crazy.
Yeah, like they're really skilled. They know how to, from pouring the concrete, creating the foundation, the wiring for the housing, the plumbing, the HVAC. They got people that literally know how to do all that. Learn different skills. Plumbers, electricians, all those people,
Right.
all those jobs are in high demand right now, and they're going to become even more and more demand as we get more into the future.
Yep.
So focus on things that make you a human being. Focus on things that AI cannot do,
Yeah.
right? As we can go back to what I was saying with the value of something is tied to its scarcity. Think about things that AI can't do. Think about things that AI can't touch. Think about things that truly make you human. Think
Yeah.
about a human experience that only you can provide,
Yeah.
right? And that is how you will make yourself valuable in a world where AI is taking up all the jobs and it's
Yeah.
the shit job market and you can't really find a W-2, right? You gotta figure out how to be self-sustaining. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to have all this land. You don't need a whole bunch of acres. You can do a lot with a half an acre,
Right.
right? But it's gonna take going back to being human, which also means collaborating
Yeah.
and creating
That's
communities.
huge, bro.
Collaborating and creating, bro. This our whole idea of self-made is a trick.
Yeah.
That's a trick, bro. The
Not true.
bro,
You need the help from somebody.
the original human mind is programmed to equate being alone with death.
Yeah.
That's why when you get in trouble in jail, they put you in solitary confinement. That's when they don't beat you. That's one of the worst things you can do to a human is isolate them.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be alone. There's 7 billion of us.
Yeah.
But we've gotten tricked via social media propaganda, via whatever, bro. We've gotten tricked into thinking that, oh, I did it by myself. Oh, it's me, self-made millionaire. You know, I don't need nobody. Blah blah blah. Everybody needs somebody,
Yeah.
and we need each other more than we think, more than we even realize, man. Because this, all of this is happening, and everybody's gonna be forced into doing things and living a life that they don't want to live
Yeah.
because they are not self-sustaining, because they're dependent on somebody else that is not in alignment with the life that they want to live.
Right.
It's not that you're not supposed to be dependent. It's just that you want to be dependent on people that also want to be dependent on you, and y'all are aligned and have a common goal.
Value.
You know what I'm saying? But if you just by yourself, you isolate yourself from your family, and some people need to be isolated from their family because some people families just crazy and is more detrimental to their life than they are positive. But for the people that just saying, oh, I'm just gonna make my money and I'm gonna stay out the way.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna contribute to nobody else. You're not trying to help put people on. You're not trying to build community. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We need to find a way to build real life connections that's not just online.
Right.
Yes, online is a tool, but you know what I'm saying? We need to find ways that we can create communities, bro, that where we, buying land, you know what I'm saying? Teaching skills, teaching how to farm, teaching how to raise cat, teaching how to do different things. How to survive, bro.
And
Becoming more human.
like he's saying, I want to add to that because I don't need to say anything because he already said it when it comes down to our job as beings, as humans, right? Just doing natural things that we already did before AI was here, before, you know what I'm saying? All of these different revolutions happened that made our jobs easier. But, have that mindset, understand that we need to go back to the old days and learning how to survive off the land and, you know what I'm saying, build community. But also understand how to day trade, right? Understand finances, right? Understand their system at the same time, right? So that you can benefit from both worlds. Going back to something I read in the Bible. Be in the world, but not of the world, right? Be peculiar, right? A part of you being in the world but not of it is you walking that thin line that still allows you to benefit from what they're doing. In the Bible, it also says, I can't remember the scripture, but the riches of the evil are stored up for the righteous. The wicked, the riches of the wicked will be stored up for the righteous, right? All of the things that people are doing, you know what I'm saying, that all of these evil people are doing, there's a portion of it that God wants you to take, right? But don't take it and rely on it as what they made it to be. Take it and, like we said, transmute that currency back into something real, back into you, into something fruitful, into some land, right? Into some fruits, into things, all the things he said just now, right? Use them because they're using you. You know what I'm saying? It's not right for us to just be living this life living this life down, right? Whenever we can take advantage of the system that they built, that they're allowing us to take advantage. Donald Trump literally said, go out and buy stocks, right? He literally said, go out and invest into the stock market, right? He's telling us, get some of this money, right?
No other president has done that.
Nobody else. This is the first time. So that means something, right?
Something's coming.
That's something that God is doing, right? To help preserve his people, right? To help us preserve ourselves, right? Whenever, the Yasharel, the children of Israel were in Egypt, right? There was Egypt, and then there was somewhere else called Goshen, right? So in Egypt, whenever God was sending the plagues because Pharaoh wouldn't let them go, God sent them to Goshen, right? In Goshen, when all those plagues were hidden in Egypt, they were safe, right? They didn't have any of those plagues hitting them. And that's why Pharaoh got mad at them, like, man, why aren't y'all first children dying? Right? Why y'all firstborns not dying? Why y'all don't have boils? Why y'all not going through it like we are? Right? That's because they took advantage. They took the resources that the Egyptians gave them and built, a shelter, built an ark for them to survive on. That's biblical, right? Don't look at the Bible as just made up stories and, you know what I'm saying, things that you can apply because it's a fantasy. No, it's all symbolic, right? Whether they were made up or not, you can absolutely look at those stories and be like, okay, apply it till today. You know what I'm saying? To wrap everything up, man. Bro, I appreciate you, God. Bro, this was a great conversation. First of many, all the time.
Yeah.
And then I told y'all this,
We
right?
was literally doing this before. We was doing this before we turned the camera on, and we just like, all right, might as well. I grabbed these chairs out the living room and brought them in here, and yeah, this is normal for us. I'm glad we got to do.
Yes,
We got the first one out the way, and we didn't really like overthink it and try to be like,
Simple.
oh, let's have it set up like this. You just set the chairs up, turn the camera on, get it out the way. I ain't got no socks on. Feet probably looking crazy, but I don't care. Finna go hoop.
Yep. Like I said, man, and like I say in all the videos, take care of yourself, love yourself, because loving yourself is loving God. Loving your neighbor as yourself is loving God, right? Because we are all branches of the infinite consciousness, experiencing life as a man, experiencing life as a woman, okay? Love yourself, bro. That's the biggest thing I can say. We're going to wrap it up, man. Love y'all. See y'all on the next one. Hey, bro, that was a great video, bro.
I hope the mic